And we are here at the after show, behind the scenes of everything that went down in that epic premiere. Holy crap, guys. You guys blew that premiere out of the water. I have never seen that many people live on a video premiere, but you know, it was the wedding, so it was pretty epic. But in this video, I want to go over the setup. So I'm going to switch over real quick. I want to talk about everything we did in terms of gear. Thank you. The venue was gorgeous. It was absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to make sure that this is showing real quick and you guys can see my face also as well. Let me fix OBS real quick. I need to move my camera shot down to the bottom here. Whoop. My mug shot needs to be down here in the bottom, a little bit smaller, you know, get me out of the way. All right, we're back. So, yes, I want to go through the gear real quick in this video, this after video, to show you guys and talk about everything gear related that happened in this video, which there was a lot of gear. If you guys saw from the get-go there, we had a lot of gear. So let's talk about the main setup here. Let's talk about this main setup here. So we're looking at the setup right now. First off, you know, the thing that catches everybody's eyes, 8 Bowf Lighting 362s right here. We had 2 on feet just on the bottom, and then we had these half stands, which Marcel's talked about in the video. You basically can unscrew and make them smaller. Basically made this little pyramid setup, and I mean, a couple of you guys commented on the live premiere that the tubes looked amazing. Secondly to that, we had our movers here. So these are the Bowf Lighting MH150 spots, and I haven't really made a video on this yet, but we're using white out gravity stands with ProX adapters right there that basically put them on there. We can't go all the way up with the movers. They do get a little shaky at the very, very top, but you know, you can get them up to the same height as a totem, and this is so much less stuff to be able to transport instead of like trussing. Love it, and I love the look too. It's like way cleaner in my opinion. Of course, main DJ booth, Rain 12s, the new MK2 ones, and S9 mixer, which I'm planning to upgrade here shortly to like the new S7, I believe it is. Nick had his laptop, back rack running Audio Technica wireless microphones. Speaker-wise, we had the LD iCoa 18s and the brand new RCF NLX 24s. Pretty beefy sound system. And I'll go ahead and answer some questions because, you know, some people wanted to know how many people can these do. All right, I haven't really fully tested these out yet. This is literally gig 2 of them. There was a lot of gig 2 stuff in this. The Rain 12s, gig 2. They messed up. Nick had to unplug and replug in one of the Rain 12s in the middle of it, but it worked out. NLX 24s, also second gig. First gig, we had to get them fixed too. We had a lot of learning going on this gig, but everything worked out great, minus the hazer. We'll talk about that too. NLX 24s, though, 2 of them, I've been told, can do 400 to 500 people if you have the right subs. Now, when I'm hearing these, I can tell you right now, these 2 iCoa subs, maybe 200, 250 people, depending on how much bass you want. I would probably want like 8 of these to do 500 people. Hazer over here, it actually broke on us. So I'm not sure if it was Marcel's fault or one of my guys' faults, but it started leaking when they put fluid in it. I think they overfilled it, but it also wouldn't produce haze. So I think that was Marcel's putting water haze fluid in it, and it's an oil maker. And yeah, what you can't see in this photo though, and I think I have it in the next photo. Well, we'll talk about that right there in a second as well. There's also over here, you can see them right there. We got the LD Systems Maui 28 G3s. So we had 2 of them. We had one here and one over here that were doing side fill coverage. So literally you could hear everything crystal clear in this damn place. It was awesome. So yeah, that's a little bit of the main setup. We're also, you know, we're running sound switch for all the lighting. Uplighting. We had 32 of these bad boys. We had the S4s all around the main room. 32 of those lighting up the whole venue. It's funny, a lot of people actually commented that they didn't notice the uplights. Like I asked Bar after the wedding, he's like, "You had uplights there?" Didn't even notice. But I think it's just the brick exterior. You know, it blends in a lot more. So yeah, that was the main gear setup. We also had 17 of these awesome twinkle stars that we got from, look, right there is actually Bar right there in the photo. Bar and Linda, look at that. But these are the twinkle stars that I use on our holiday lighting business. And, you know, it's actually super easy to hang these. So we're actually using magnetic clips. So it's called a click-it system, and it comes with like a little adapter for the pole. Makes it super easy to hang these, and then we just run all of our power cords up here and plug them in. And we got some extenders that we can set the links correctly. This literally took maybe an hour to put all these up, and it took them less than 30 minutes to take them all down. Pretty sick little add-in. So we had clusters all throughout. I love the star setup. So this is the reception setup, of course. And we also had setups on the backside as well. I wanted to, you know, this is actually part of the venue layout, but this is normally where the venue has the DJ here. Like 99% of the time, even when I've been there, the DJ sets up on this stage, which they have awesome sound acoustics in this. They've sound treated everything. You can see it here. This is a sound treatment. If I go to the next picture, they have sound baffles up in the ceiling. This is sound treatment here. I love this venue for that reason, because they have concrete floors and brick walls, but they sound treated it wonderfully. Sounds amazing. But they normally have the DJ set up here. And normally the dance floor is like right over here in front of it, and they stack all the tables in this area. So I literally, when we were designing this, we wanted to flip this layout on its head and do something really different that they've never seen before. But let's continue the gig of gear. So Nick's little mug shot right there. Look at him going. Ceremony. So if you guys saw on the video, we pipe and draped off a quarter of the room, or a third of the room. So we ran 60 feet of pipe and drape, black pipe and drape, all from Georgia Expo to do that. And also, while you guys are watching right now, I need to refresh the comments, I believe. Can you refresh the comments? If you guys got any questions related to gear or whatnot, leave them in the comment section down below, or the live chat, and I'll answer them as we go. So we ran those LD Systems Maui 28 G3s. That's what we ran for the ceremony. So this one over here is connected right wired to the main rack. Now there's another Maui 28 G3 on the other side of the room, and I don't have a good photo to show you guys of where it is, but we ran it wirelessly. We ran it completely wirelessly using a reversed Audio-Technica lapel mic, which I have a full video coming out on how I did that next week. So in a week from today's time, you'll be able to figure out how we do wireless speakers, and like crystal clear, like 300 feet away, crystal clear. We actually pushed it out in my testing in the video to 900 feet, and it finally started to drop out. It's incredible. So basically you use existing lapels. It's pretty cool. I'll go full in depth on it, but we ran a stereo surround sound so everybody could hear it crystal clear. Sounded amazing. You know, it's the little details, and I love having the little details in the wedding. But yeah, this was the ceremony setup. Basically, after this, we took down the pipe and drape and basically moved the room back to this setup right here. So the pipe and drape literally ran right alongside this dance floor all the way across, and that was our ceremony setup. Also, production-wise, the front room. So this was our main like grazing table for food during cocktail, and I actually pin spotted it with 4 pin spots up here in the railing, and these are the Chave Easy Pin Zoom Kit. There's 4 of them up there in the railing, 2 of them over here. Hit it from 4 different angles, and that really helped light that food up and make it a really attractive point. They're not on in this picture, but in the video, you guys probably saw there was also uplighting in the front room. We had 16 IR4s. Let's see if I can find one in here. They're all tucked in somewhere. Right there is one of them. Right there is one of them. There's a couple of them. IR4s. Those were all around this front room setup. And then audio-wise, we actually had up here was Santi's setup, if you saw from Nick's video. We had just a ProX table with the Rev 7 and Santi's setup, and we ran an LD Maui 5 Go up there and one down here, so that way we had full sound coverage up and down during the cocktail hour, which worked out great. Also in this downstairs area was this awesome backdrop that my wife wanted me to recreate. So we do a lot of drapery stuff on the side. You're a little raspy. It's like you're scratching noises of your mic. It's probably my facial hair hitting the mic. So This backdrop right here is a bunch of sheer drapery panel, again, from Georgia Expo with some bistro lights mixed in. It's a very abstract design backdrop, not really designed to block out the backdrop, but to blend through it. She found this Pinterest image online, and I recreated it to the best of my abilities, and it was a highlight focal point. We took a lot of great photos here, and it was very cool thing that set the vibe from day one, or from moment one when people walked in to the front of this room. Yeah, that is a little bit of the gear breakdown. Next, I plan on talking about the breakdown of the timeline, because we did do some creative things with the timeline that are different than I've seen at most weddings. But yeah, so that right there is the breakdown of the gear, everything related to the gear at my wedding, all the different fixtures we were using, and yeah, it was epic. We used a lot of gear. Oh, well, I guess the last thing I forgot to mention, let me find the photo and I'll show you guys, was cold sparks. And I don't think I have a photo of it. I do not have a photo of it. Give me 2 seconds. I'll find the photo of the cold sparks. But do you guys have any questions? I know from earlier we talked about the difference of the IR4s versus the S4s. I know someone wanted to talk about that, and I think I see him in the comments right there. Yeah, I am AL. Let me adjust Jay's question real quick. Oh, nice. The 28s for side fills. I almost thought they were the 44s. I'm going to be honest, Jay. The 44s and the 28s, if you don't see them side by side, they literally look identical. The 44s are just a little bit bigger in all dimensions. And, of course, being a little bit bigger, they get a lot louder. But literally, they're the exact same. And exact same clarity. The like EQing on them sounds phenomenal. It's just the 44s can go quite a bit louder. That's about it. Did the gear have to be broken down night of? Yes. So you might have seen it in the original video if you looked behind the thing. So I had 4. I had 4 assistants helping out this whole entire event. So there were 4 guys behind the scenes making all this happen. They're all, so shout out to Hayden, shout out to Jacob, shout out to Josh, and shout out to Gabby. All 4 of them were in the background, basically, breaking down the pipe and drape, making it happen. And also shout out to my boy Marcellus. He was in my wedding party, but he did actually spend a good amount of time at the DJ booth making sure shit was working correctly, like syncing mics, making sure to tell the guys, to break this down at that time, and, just kind of managing them and making sure they were doing the right things, because Nick was there, the DJ, him and Santi were the DJ team, but they were also making sure everything happened as well. So yeah, they killed it. So this ended at 11 o'clock. They broke the whole thing down, and I think in an hour and 50 minutes, and that includes all the stuff in the front room and the back. So the 4 of them knocked it out. We left the trailer parked out front or out back, and they loaded everything into the trailer that night, and then we came and got the trailer the next morning, and we picked up the van too. We had so much gear that it couldn't all fit in the trailer, and that's a first for me, which is crazy. Let's talk about the advantages using S4s in the main room versus the IR4s. IMAL, the main reason we did that was because we had more. So currently right now, we do own... So, of course, we have a crap load of IR4s because we run both lighting. I mean, literally in the warehouse right now, we probably have 500 IR4 lights and another 300 S4 lights ready to ship to customers. But those are for customers. Those are for both lighting and sell. So in our personal stock that we use, I have 48 S4 uplights and I have 16 IR4s. We actually have 32 IR4s, but the other 2 cases live with our DJs that live in Raleigh. So in our warehouse here in Greensboro, we only had 16 IR4s and 48 S4s, and we had the trailer. It's easy to roll them in and out, and the S4s are a little bit more robust for our corporate events, and it was just more we had them, so we had more S4s. So that's why we used S4s all around the main room, and that's why we used IR4s in the front room. It's just because that's the uplights we had. The IR4s in the front room were actually running on just the solid color. They were not running on Master Slave or DMX or anything. They were just doing amber. All the lights in the main room, though, those were on. It's probably because I'm talking too close to the mic. How about I put my headphones on? There we go. So if I put my headphones on, I probably can hear better, and that'll help with the audio. Unless that you're talking about the crackling sound, and that's a common thing that's going on with our podcast right now that I don't know how to fix. So yeah, there's that. Probably that's what it is. Anyways, let's go back to num2 real quick, and yeah. Where are we at here? So, not about the gear, but how did the after party DJ react to all the DJs? Dude, he literally shit a brick. So, I didn't go up to him initially. Nick and Santi were, because they do that DJ thing, they literally walked straight up to the DJ after we got there, and literally the dude was like, holy, what? Nick Spinelli's at my, what? Why are you here? And he's like, we're doing DJ and Rick's wedding. And he's like, Rick's here too? And he's like, yeah, Bar's over there and J Book. And he's like, oh, like literally lost his mind. Like the DJ lost his mind. But I give him props. He killed it at the after party. The after party was so much fun. Yeah. Let's see. Hi, question. Did you make any DMX software that is free to use, does not require hardware that you can use with strobe lights? No, I do not know of any, nor do I have any. I think Light Rider's free. You might look into that. Damn, that's a nice sign. Where'd you get it? Look, Solstice wants his plug. This is a Solstice neon right here in the backdrop. The DJ Life sign. Look at that. Hayden's in the chat. What's up, Hayden? Random question. How old do you have to be to join FSL? Old enough to drive. That's about it. You can be younger, too, if someone's willing to take you places, but Marcellus did a great job of the video managing the crew. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Will, the mics, I don't even know what the hell to do about it. I thought it was a ground loop. Honestly, I did, and I cannot, for the life of me, figure it out. When I tell you it's not a ground loop, literally, I've unplugged everything. I've tried it, and I've tried ground reliefs, and it's so weird. I took our whole setup, and I took it to... where did we go? We went to the warehouse to do a live stream at the warehouse, and when I came back and set it all back up in the same orientation, same fashion, I now have this crackling sound, and I've probably spent 3 hours trying to troubleshoot it, and I don't know. Maybe I need to spend another 5 hours figuring it out. You need USB to DMX, use QLC plus. Oh, he's replying to another person. How does the ProX adapter connect to the movers? It uses the clamps. So the clamps that you would normally use on the movers to attach to like an O clamp, it attaches to the ProX adapter. So if you just look up like ProX speaker pole mover adapter, you'll find what I'm talking about. But I just thought about that needs to be a new video I come out with, because we literally have got rid of every bit of truss for our events, unless we're doing TVs. Not really for my setup. It was more for my other guys that don't have trailers, and they're using the collapsible Rockville totems. These things save them so much fucking time. When you're talking about just all you have to do is screw a pole into the base plate and you're done, versus having to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 4 or 8 bolts together to assemble a damn totem at every event. So much faster, and it looks better in my opinion, so that's why we're using those. It also actually helps us a little bit with gear logistics, because when they're doing movers now, they don't have to bring uplights for the totems. They can just bring the movers only, so it's a win-win. Yeah. Is there an interface? No interface. I have an H6, so it's a Zoom H6 that's running off of USB power. I've tried batteries. I've tried no batteries. It's running off of USB power though from the computer. So there's that. Yeah, I need to like literally take some time and troubleshoot everything, like unplug everything and slowly add stuff in. because I haven't tried like unplugging everything when it comes to like this TV, the light ring, and a few other things to see if any of that's causing an issue. But it's just so weird because this problem did not exist prior to this. Like when I set it up in the exact same fashion, now it exists. It's so weird. But yeah. Anyways, I want to talk about the flow of the event. So right now we're looking at the setup. I want to go and talk about from the start of the event, what are the cool little things. What totem lighting is that? Totem lighting. There's no totem lighting. Oh, that's just the pixel tube. Or not a pixel tube. That's just the Both Lighting 360 tube on a stand in front of it. Pretty cool. Looks good. EV's XLP speakers. I've not heard of EV XL speakers. If you were to join FSO, would you provide the gear? Yes. We have 2 different programs. You can start with 0 gear. The only thing we need you to have your own is a laptop, and we can help you buy a laptop. Like you can do a buyback system where we buy it for you, and then eventually you basically pay it off for doing gigs. Are you going to DJX this year? Yes, I'll be at DJX, and I'll be at Midwest DJ Live. Yes, this is for all you guys that missed the original conversation. I went through all the gear in the beginning of this post talk, but that is an LD ICOA 18, RCF NLX 24s, both lighting 360 tubes, S4s, MH150, both lighting spots on top of gravity stands. But I want to talk about the flow. So there's Nick's Bud Shop. So unique and creative things that we did at our wedding that are different than anything else out there. 1, at the ceremony, we had a split room. So I don't have it in this photo, but we pipe and draped off a quarter of the room. We did an intimate ceremony that was only family and friends. So believe it or not, everyone sitting here, this is only half of our crowd. So we only invited family and friends, or what we call them VIPs, to our ceremony. We also involved our dogs in the ceremony, which is pretty epic. This first photo here, where is that? I did a cool little custom groom entrance. So I picked out an instrumental cover of Let's Go by Ozzy and Lil Jon. And it was like dun 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 dun. It's instrumental cover. Go watch the full video. But epic little entrance. I loved it because it calmed my nerves. Because nervous as hell. But it was a cool little fun element, kind of like having a flower man or something like that. I really enjoyed it. Gave a little point to the camera. It was very fitting for me, being the YouTuber and all that, to come into the thing. But you can see the pipe and drape there. And one other thing, just point out, we did another piece of pipe and drape behind the entrance, so that way they don't see past it, which was kind of cool. So that was the ceremony. We also had a stereo sound system like I talked about earlier. So we actually ran 2 speakers, one on this side and we ran one on the other side wirelessly. So it was a full stereo surround sound. So sound wasn't coming from one side or the other or front or back. It was coming from both sides equally so everyone could hear it crystal clear. It was awesome. Then let's talk about the cake cutting or the cheese cutting. So me and Christine both did not really care for having a cake cutting, so we opted to do a cheese cutting. So this is actually the cheese. It's a stack of cheese wheels on our grazing table at the cocktail space, and we cut it right after the ceremony. So we literally ran from when we exited the ceremony, we ran up there, we cut the cheese, and our immediate family was able to watch it, like our parents. And then we return for family photos. And this is the other cool part that comes into play. So during family photos, they flipped the room. So what we did timeline-wise was ceremony started at 4:30. So 4:30 is when we walked down the aisle. We actually finished early because it was a very short ceremony, only 8 minutes long. That was another thing, very unique. The script was very unique as well. Christine created a very unique, non-traditional ceremony script that we liked. Her uncle actually did the ceremony as the officiant for us, which was awesome. But so 5 o'clock is basically when the VIP cocktail started. So, and because we only had family there, those were all the people that were going to be taking the pictures with us. So between 5 and 6 was our VIP cocktail hour, and then at 6 o'clock is when the rest of our guests were invited to come to the wedding. So we actually had 2 hours of cocktail, but the first hour was only for those VIP people that were there. We had some different appetizers for them. It was pretty sweet. And then everyone else showed up at 6 o'clock. So at 6 o'clock, that's when the rest of the people joined into the cocktail space. You know, we did some really cool stuff with uplighting around the cocktail space. This chalkboard was used for our seating chart. We did the seating chart in alphabetical order because that's the best way to do it, in my opinion. Otherwise, people are going to be confused. We did this cool backdrop, little seating area, you know, just really trying to create a vibe when people walked in to the ceremony or the cocktail space. Like I mentioned, our dogs were involved. So this right here is our 2 little Springer Doodles, 2-year-old Noelle and little baby Ava, 6 months years old. And they had signature drinks. How cute. You had Noelle, the pineapple margarita. And then you had baby Ava, a pink champagne with flowers. So cute. There's a nice little photo we took with the doggos. Their paws got to go into it. Love it. So cute. There's another look at the chalkboard. So we actually had a chalkboard artist come and do this. They have like chalkboard artists that they recommend. But little touches like the name of the date right here on the back of the Cadillac DeVille, which was our exit car. You know, just so many little cool touches that we had. Instead of a guest book, we had a quilt signing. So this quilt was actually hand-pieced by my grandparents. So Grandma and Grandpa Weber, and it's a wedding ring quilt, and everyone signed the back of it, and we're going to hang that up in our house instead of, you know, a sign-in sheet. So we liked it. Really cool stuff. There's a little picture of some of the lamb kebabs. I just wanted to touch on, like, you know, I mentioned it in the earlier bits, but food was a huge part of our wedding. Christine is a huge foodie. Her family's a huge foodie. They're all foodies. And the food was amazing. I didn't even get to have one of these. These were lobster rolls. I'm so mad I didn't get one of these. I didn't get one of the lamb ones either. I was literally tied up doing pictures, and I missed out on 2 of those. It was so sad. Anyways, coming back, you know, main setup, I really wanted the focal point to be that DJ setup and really, you know, emphasize the DJ, of course, because the groom is the DJ. We had a nice little dance floor. Not a huge dance floor because a small dance floor is better than a big dance floor. It was only 15 by 20 for 140 something guests, 130, 140 guests. So small dance floor. That's why it looked packed the whole night, because it was a good sized dance floor for the crowd that we had involved. The decor on the tables, absolutely stunning. Our caterer knocked that out of the park. Epic. So we move on to introductions. So, you know, that secondary cocktail went from 6 to like 6:45. We did introductions. We did groups. So all the groomsmen came in together. All the bridesmaids came in together to make it faster. It was awesome. Me and Christine came in. They got this awesome shot of us coming in. Everybody looking at us from this angle. Came down through the middle. Went straight into our first dance. Our parent dances. We had a welcome speech. All the normal stuff up front. Then for dinner, we actually sat up here. So this is up on the balcony overlooking the reception space. Because, you know, one of the biggest things I run into at weddings is that if you have a table down below, you're constantly getting bombarded by people saying, hey, you know, great to see you. They want to chit chat, blah, 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 blah. And you never get to eat. This wasn't really a factor of us wanting to be alone. It was more we needed a chance to be able to eat so we could survive the night. So we went up top here. Our caterer brought us all the food. We went on like a food tour around the room. We actually did stations, so there was different stations throughout the room that have different cuisines. So like over here was your barbecue station, or down south. Over here was the carving. We had a carb lovers, a Mediterranean. Really cool concept with doing stations around the room, more tapas style, small plates, so that everybody gets to try a little bit of everything. Again, food was a huge focus, and our caterer knocked it out of the park. And exclamations. Yeah. So with having the table up there, we didn't have a table down on the floor. So another cool thing that I liked is that we were standing for any of the things that involved attention. So we would stand either in front of the DJ booth to the side of the DJ booth for, say, the welcome speech, for our toast. Right there's my brother giving his best man speech. So instead of us sitting down and that person giving a toast feeling awkward or looking down upon us or something like that, they actually got to be on the same level as us. And I think it just, I just like it. It's like little details and things that I think about that just like I love that we did at the wedding that just makes sense, if that makes sense. And I'll get to you guys' questions in a minute. Then we did the picture game. So we ran around. I actually like this concept of running around and taking pictures at all the different tables, but you got to do it fast. You got to have the photographer needs to be on top of it, and you need to pre-plan it to be able to go fast. We knocked this out of the park in probably like 3 minutes, 4 minutes. I don't even know. I'd have to check the GoPro footage, but this is one of the epic DJ tables. You had Michael here, Jay Book, Bar, Eric over here, my cousin Brock in the background and his wife. And you got the girls as well. It was, one of the epic tables of the wedding party. Had to throw it in there. There's our awesome group shot. So as soon as we finished the table game, we invite everybody up for a big group shot. This just turned out epic. Look at all those people. What an epic party. What an epic group of people. And then Nick kicked it right off into open dancing. And we danced and we partied. And, one of the best things that the bride and the groom need to be on the dance floor the whole night. And I was on the dance floor the whole goddamn night. I was on the dance floor. I was up in Nick's face. Not really. That's literally the only time I came up to do Nick, and that was more to allow Santi to get some cool shots and some cool pictures like this. There's me and Christine up on the dance floor. Everybody around us having party. You got J Book up here going, oh, Nick just probably dropped a transition. He's losing his mind right now. Eric also probably just heard a transition, losing his mind. Bar's trying to figure out what the hell's going on in the background. Gotta love it, people. Gotta love it. They hoisted me up. I gotta give a caveat to Nick. One of the coolest things I liked about his sets, or the things that I take up on things that happen, is he I don't even know if he does this on purpose, but he had every fifth or sixth song was something that got people to put their hands in the air. And that was just so clever to me. Throughout the night, there was constantly something that got people to put their hands up in the air and stay involved. And it was really cool to see him work a room at my wedding. Right here, he played The Lion King, and Marcellus took it upon himself. He literally was tapping on people's shoulders and got my boy Gabe to raise me up in the air. And thankfully, I had my homie Drake and his dad on my back, making sure I don't fall, because I'm literally up here panicking, going this is a terrible idea. This is a terrible idea. But it worked out, and it made for some epic shots. And then, we partied it for the whole entire night, and we finished it up with our last dance, a private dance. So we kicked everyone out front to go do the send-off with Cold Sparks and everything out front. We both had a change of clothing. So she's got a cool jean jacket that says the Webbers on the back. I changed into some black gray jeans and a T-shirt with my jacket and a fedora. Looked awesome. And then we went to the after party after that. So after the wedding, we went to the after party. That started at 11. We stayed there until 1 o'clock in the morning, had bottle service, and then we had an after party back at our house with another 15 to 20 people that kept wanting to party until 3 o'clock in the morning. And then we finally, I think, went to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning. Craziness. It was an epic wedding. So let's look back through the questions real quick. You guys are blowing up the chat. I love it. Thank you guys for being in here. So I'm back here. LD 15 or 18. No 18-inch subs. And yes, for the price point, they bump. They bump for the price. We actually had a mishap at the wedding. So the RCF NLX 24s are TrueCon power in, and they don't have a power switch. And the team actually overlooked turning on the LD Systems ICOA subs. But because we were using the side fills of the LD Maui 28 G3s, those had 12-inch subs in them. And that was enough bass that no one really noticed that the subs weren't on. And it was literally probably an hour into open dancing when Nick started to play a little bit more hip-hop stuff. And I was like, wait a second, where's the bass? And I walked over to the sub and it was off. And I turned the sub on and it instantly changed it. Nick literally broke his neck and turned around and was like, what the hell happened? I was like, they didn't turn the subs on. He's like, oh, I was just thinking they were pieces of shit. But no, it sounds amazing with those subs. Let's see here. Yes, I don't think any DJ. Most beautiful wedding. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. A lot of planning and details went into it. Is your real name Rick, Ricky, or something else? My real name is Richard. Richard is my real name. I go by Rick or Ricky for the most part. Let's see. How much is a gravity stand? I don't know. Go on Amazon and search for gravity stand. I think they're like $200, $300 each for one of them. This video. How many people was there? I answered that in the thing. We had like 140. I hope your whole company came. Yes, they did. Absolutely. Everyone in my company was invited. A few of them couldn't make it. One of them had a last-minute family emergency, unfortunately. And the other one was on tour DJing an event, so he couldn't make it. So only 2 of my guys couldn't make it but literally everybody else was either in the crowd or they were one of the 4 assistants working behind the booth. I had everybody there, including assistants. It was awesome. Most of my crew was either in the wedding or they were sitting back here at this table having a blast with a bunch of the other DJs. Yep. Did Nick tell you the way we're giving out free iPads in the parking lot? That there were people giving out free iPads? No, I did not. Is that in Santi's video? I haven't watched Santi's little video of Greensboro DJs yet. I heard he trashed them, though. I can't believe you did a good job at a question DJ videos. Do all DMX software options have lighting consoles? Just out of curiosity, how much did your wife participate in the planning? She drove the planning, my man, the audio dude. She was like literally driving the planning. I was honestly taking a backseat for the most part. I did a lot of layout planning, laying out the room, the production planning, but my wife took care of literally a lot of like the food. She took care of the little details when it comes to the decor, the chalkboard designs, the rentals that we had when it comes to like the furniture up front and stuff. Even let me go to this real quick. I'll find the picture. The front room design was all hers. Where's that? Right here. Right here. This whole design was her mom and her. They basically did all this. So I created it. I put this together, but this was all her design. It was cool to see all the different elements come together. Her mom did a lot of this too when it comes to planning the decor. So it was by far a team effort, but I pretty much just made sure shit happened when it was down to the wire. That was pretty much my responsibility. Yeah. The white piece on the bottom of the gravity stands for the moving heads where do you get those? Those are gravity stands. The bottom of those are the ProX adapters. I talked about that earlier. It's a ProX speaker pole like mover adapter is what you got to search for. Yeah, let's see. He claims says that to kick people out for the private last dance. What? Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, that is what he said. Yeah, he said there's free iPads in the outside. Yeah, he talked about that. That's funny. No, he didn't really. I don't think he said that. He might have. I had to go back and check the GoPro footage to see what he said. Basically, tell everybody to leave. I am not Jewish. No, I'm not. 44 G2s versus this setup. Clearly, this setup is bigger. This setup is monster. We could have used two 44 G2s, honestly, and been just as good. This was just overkill. It's one of those things, it's a DJ throwing a wedding for himself, or it's a DJ throwing his wedding with his wife, and you got a bunch of other DJs in the room, and they're sitting in the warehouse. Why not bring out the bigger, badder setup of sound that we have to, do a little teasing? But those RCF NLX 24s are... You can't beat them. I mean, those tops cost $2,500 a piece. Those tops cost as much as both 44s together. So, actually, yeah, just about crazy. Yeah, no, SoundSwitch is by far the best software. Do you like the LD? I know, very bad. Harbinger. I do not like the LD ICOA tops. The ICOA tops are terrible, in my opinion. They like cut out all the time, but the 44, my like favorite speakers, and I got a whole video coming out on this. This is a future video that's in the works. We're gonna dive into column arrays again, and this video might be titled "Column Arrays Don't Suck." And we're going to go through all the best column arrays that exist because we have a variety of column arrays now in our company to the point now where we actually don't own any top speakers anymore. We don't. We got rid of all of our 15-inch tops. We got rid of all of our 12-inch tops. We don't have any 15 or 12-inch tops anymore in the company, except for some battery-powered smaller and stuff, but that doesn't count. We don't use them. All of our speakers are column arrays now. We use the LD Maui 5 Go's. The LD system is Maui 28 G3s. The LD 44 G2s. We use Bose L32s, which I'm trying to convince Marcellus to get rid of those because I personally don't like them. And now we have the RCF NLX 24s to round out our full complete array of column array speakers that can do anything from the low end of like 50 to 100 people at a ceremony to 500 people at a massive school dance. And it's all column arrays. Of course, the RCFs are paired with real 18-inch subs, though, instead. Yes. Do you know all the DMX software options, the lighting? Do you think that the EV BLX 15s are any good? I don't know what those are, to be honest. I don't know. I've been borrowing Evox 8s. Evox 8s are solid. Yeah, Evox 8s are good, personally. They're basically the 28 G3s, but they're not as good. Verdict yet on how many people for 28 G3s can handle versus 44s? Yes, Hayden, my awesome assistant. Maui 28 G3s can handle about 120 people, 100 to 120 people, depending on the size of the room, as you know. If like you had two 28 G3s in Cadillac's big room, you might need a little more. That's a big room. But some of the smaller rooms, you can do 110 people easily. With those things, I'd probably stick to like that 80 to 100 threshold, but the G2, the 44 G2s, I'd push those things to 200 people. I've done it multiple times, 200 person weddings. Again, depending on the room, you might need to throw a side fill. This is the same thing with the 28 G3s. If you're in a big room, you might need to throw like a side fill towards the back end just so, announcements are a little clearer and you can cut through the room a little bit better. But yeah, 100-ish G3s, 200 max with the 44 G2s. And why am I telling you this now? We're going to make a whole video on this. We're going to literally break them all out at the warehouse and play them and we'll have the mic so you guys can hear the clarity difference, all that. Envision, yes, we're planning on using the RCFs for school dances, but the main reason we actually bought them is for corporate audio. To do big corporate events. We're moving into the corporate sector at a very, very fast rate right now. There might be a video wall in the works coming this year for the company, like a 20-foot by 15-foot tall video wall. Yeah, that's exciting. See you, man. Gotta go sleep. Peace out. I think Rick is the world's best DJ. No offense to I am definitely not the world's best DJ, but I am definitely pretty good. I know I'm pretty good, and I'm pretty confident that I'm pretty good, but I'm definitely not the best. There's a whole laundry list of DJs that I'd put above me, and that's what keeps the hustle and the grind going to do better. If you think you're the best DJ, go to a single DJ conference, and you will quickly realize you are not the best DJ in the world. I do not recommend Bark unless you're trying to do birthday parties. Yeah, so this is a Q&A time, boys and girls. We're at 10:13 right now. I planned on getting off here at 10:30. So any comments, questions, or concerns you have in the comments down below for the 67, geez, I love you guys, 67 people still on here, trucking strong on this live post Q&A from the wedding. And yes, it was just epic. I mean, come on, guys. I gotta go back to this one shot, guys. Like this shot right here. Masterpiece. Oh my God. Like the venue is amazing. Let's not understate that. The venue is amazing. This is their lighting normally, but adding the stars, this unique layout, like I talked about, this is normally where they set the DJ up. This is in the back corner of the room. They set the DJ up on top of it. Instead, we put the bar in front of it. and you have to DJ from up here down to the big room all the way across the thing. Even the venue was like, this is not normal. Like they loved it though. They're like, they loved the concept. It's different. I actually DJ'd a wedding here with more people, and they had more dead space in the room than ever before. Like, it was so empty. Like, this whole entire side right here on the left, I'm not sure if I'm in the way, but basically the whole entire left half of the dance floor here was all left for dance floor at the one of the weddings I did there, and all the tables were crunched into this like inner corner, and there was a big walkway over here, and like they just packed everyone together, and it was crazy. Like, utilize the room, man. I swear. My biggest thing, I should get into consulting for like layouts for weddings, because that's where I geek out, is like the flow and the layout of a wedding and how it flows and how it orchestrates. That's where I get off on that stuff, man. It's so important. How do I get more clients for DJing, and how much should I charge normally? Wow, that is a rabbit hole of a question, Phil, the Phillip family. The cheap way, network your ass off. Network your ass off. Call up venues. Call up planners. Ask them out to lunch. Ask them out to this. Every event you do, network your ass off. Get into those clients. Do a good job. And that's how you do it. The free route, if you want to speed that process up, you got to invest some money into some marketing, man. That's the best way I can tell you. I'd probably start out at wedding shows and vendor networking shows if you can get into like open houses at venues. Those are the cheapest routes, and then the most expensive routes are Wedding Wire and the Knot, and Google and Facebook and Instagram paid ads. But as a single op, they're not feasible to pay that amount of money. As a multi-op like myself, it is feasible to afford that fee, because it is very expensive. And how much should you charge? Normally that depends on your area, but honestly, if you're charging anything less than $1,000, please up your rates. In any market, I don't see a DJ that needs to charge anything less than $1,000 to go DJ a wedding. I think honestly the average right now is $1,500 to $2,000 for a wedding DJ. Across the majority. I mean, if we're talking New Jersey, New York, probably $3,000 averages, if not higher. Yeah, big inner cities probably more, but in general, I see $1,500 to $1,500. Oh wow. Let's see. There's a lot of questions in here. Let's see. How do I get more clients to hire DJing and charge them? Ask that. You can say directly. Do you need that interfaces? Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm not too far off here. Congrats on the married life. Are you going to be doing more weddings or corporate events? Yes, absolutely. We're going to be doing more weddings and corporate events. My wedding, thankfully, was in the off season, but let me tell you here, at the end of March, things ramp right up, right up, and I am back to 1 to 2 weddings a week, if not more. Depends how busy Hannah keeps me, but I have some strict vacation policies in place this year because I'm not trying to do too many events this year. I'm really trying to back off how many events I do and push more of my events to the other DJs in my company, and really just focus in on the big events that I want to do. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck? Could a woodchuck could jump? I almost nailed it. I started at the end. He said earlier. Yes. Well, it depends. Shout out to my moderator, Will the Ham. I always forget who I have set up as the moderators, but thank you as always for jumping in there, answering questions for people, keeping me straight on the feed. Love it. Yeah, I can go back to the main cam. Do you do international gigs? Yes, I actually almost had an opportunity in 2021 to go to Italy to do an event. But when I hit the client with, I required them to fly me and another person, not just me. I wasn't going to go do a wedding in Italy by myself. I wanted to have a roadie like I always do, and a trusted one that I like. Yeah, it wasn't going to work out money-wise. They ended up hiring someone over there, but they did want to fly me over. But they didn't want to pay for 2 flights and hotels for 2 people, so there's that. Does that venue have in-house sound? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. We can go back to that real quick. So they have in-house sound, but it's just a Sonos sound system. It's pretty cool. The whole venue has a Sonos sound system built in throughout. So the main room, the front room, it's all got a Sonos sound system built into it. It's definitely not made for giving speeches or doing microphone stuff. It's meant for just, background music while you're setting up, or for smaller events where you just need to play some background music. But it was really cool because in the back here's the groom suite. They had their own Sonos sound system in there with clip speakers. It sounded phenomenal. And in the bride suite, they had one too. Really cool that they had the sound system throughout so that we could jam out while we were setting up, while we were tearing down, and we could jam out prior to the wedding. You didn't have to bring any speakers, for that stuff. It was pretty cool. Moving heads, spots versus beams. I am a big proponent of wash and spot, not beams. Beams 1,000% need to have haze. Spots don't need to have haze, but they look 75% better with haze. Wash movers don't need haze at all. So I don't know why the DJ industry adopted spots as like the standard for the longest time. Me personally, all of my guys take out the Aurora 1915 wash movers. And honestly, they do a 1,000 times better of a job when it comes to making the light worthwhile. Now, if you can use haze, which we tried to do down there, it actually broke the day of, which, just got to roll with the punches. The spots look a lot better, but, do you have any curriculum or processes to train new employees? Jack, yes. Or do you wiring the basic of the skills? So, Jack, we actually just implemented, my boy David down in Atlanta has this program called Blueprint. You might have heard of it before. It's called Blueprint. It is a little pricey. I won't lie. It's like $700 a month, but it is very thorough. He has a full training program out into there. We just launched a whole hiring campaign for Fusion, and we literally set up all of the applicants, and they have to go through this course structure that he already created with videos, and it's got quizzes, and they have to submit their assignments and stuff. It is very, very thorough and worth every penny, because if I had to pay someone to make what he already has in place, I mean, literally, it's like $20,000 worth of stuff. Even if I did it myself, my hourly rate to do something is probably in the neighborhood of $250 per hour. So for me to film 3 videos for 3 hours, I mean, right there, I'm already at his fee for a month. So it's worth every penny, and it's all built into a nice little dashboard. It's clean, professional, and that's how we're bringing on new assistants and bringing on new DJs this year. Super excited. More to come on that. Trust me. There's a lot of stuff that I'm trying, new stuff I'm trying, business-wise, equipment-wise, and I always take the time to make sure that I have not heard of Blueprint. I'm going to check it out. Yes, Blueprint's very cool. Blueprint, look for Blueprint DJ, probably. But yeah, I always take the time to make sure that I test it out and I run it thoroughly before I make videos on it or recommend it to other people. If you hit me up privately, I might tell you what new things I'm experimenting with. I'm very close to releasing what we've been doing with Google and Facebook ads over the last we started that in June, but we basically hired a company to do our Facebook and Instagram ads and Google ads, and they are crushing it, literally crushing it. It took a while to spool up, but probably going to talk about that here coming June, July, about who I'm using and what business strategies I have in place and all the things I've learned and the things I've spent thousands of dollars to test out and try and see what works, what doesn't work, especially next week's video. Next week's video I'm dropping on wireless speakers. I've literally probably spent $2,000 to $3,000 of money over the years experimenting with wireless speakers sound system solutions, and lo and behold, I actually owned it the whole entire time. And one thing I've learned over the years, if you're trying to figure something out, just go find someone that knows more than you do. So, not a lot of people in the mobile industry are doing wireless speakers, but in the corporate level AV space, they've been doing wireless speakers for years, reliably. And guess what? It just took one event that we worked. We did a corporate event, and we just were the DJ, and I looked over, and they were running wireless speakers. I was like, how are you doing that? And they're like, it's just a wireless mic in reverse. And I'm like, genius. Dude, there's so many things I pick up. And then the guys at SEE are goats at learning new stuff, especially if you guys go follow, shout out JSG, Jeff Scott Gold. The dude is like a nerd out gear geek when it comes to anything and everything. And this guy, I've hit him up multiple times now, like, how are you doing that? What are you doing with that? And then he actually was the MC for Nick Spinelli's wedding, and I went and attended Nick's wedding too. And I talked to him for probably 30, 40 minutes about all the little knick-knack things he was doing. He was doing wireless speakers there. He was doing multiple wireless speakers. And he had different DMX transmitters that I was like, what are those? And he's like, oh, these are just like the most powerful ones you can buy. And then he had like shark fins for his mics and everything. I was like, what the fuck? Dude, there's so many levels to this shit, to be honest. Do you require any certification or proof of what they know? Jack, it's built into the system. It's built into it. Literally, they have to go through and they have to answer the quizzes, and you can see how many times they take the quiz. They have, here's a good example for you. In the DJ training course, the first 2 assignments, the first one is they got to demonstrate their skill of fading in and out songs at the right moment. And it shows them how to do it. But then they have to go on their phone and literally use their phone volume knob to go up and down. They have to submit that video. The next one is to literally do a mock MC script. They have to do it and submit the video to you. And then you approve or you comment and tell them how to change it. And until they get the approval, they can't move on to the next step. It's like built into the... Jump on a call with David over at Blueprint. He can explain it all to you. I'm not really making a full video on it yet because we literally just started. But I've heard very good things from multiple DJ company owners that are using David's product. LaForce in Texas is using it. John Simmons in Arkansas is using it. And a variety of other ones are also using it. One time I actually had an issue with that. The Echo Cube too. Okay, I understand. A photographer's flash started making my light flicker. It can happen. All the lights are Wi-Fi. What's the high-end DMX transmitter? We're actually selling it. If you go to bowflightingusa.com and you go to the accessories, you will find the DMX Pro, and it looks like a little box with an antenna on it. That is the more powerful DMX transmitter that those guys were using, and it just so happened that Bow Lighting also made one, and we just literally were like, yo, send us a bunch of them. So now we're selling them as well. So, yeah. And it works with the same donor system, the Chingley system, any of those Chinese wireless DMX systems, it works with it. I talked about it in one of my gig logs recently, too. I just started switching over to that, and it's another one of those things. I need to make a full video on it, and I've waited to test it out for 10 or 12 gigs to make sure it actually does what it says it does. And I can tell you right now, it does. We were using it at this event, no problems, all the uplights working perfectly the whole entire time. We didn't even have to put any of the antennas out, like on the S4s where you can push the antennas out and get more signal. Didn't have to do that at all. Worked fabulously. See you later, man. Take care. Happy Wednesday night. Yeah, you're on a good point right there. I'm about 2 minutes from getting off here as well. So last minute questions, buzz round. Any questions, buzz through them right now. Let's go. DMX software on out there. What accessories do you need? If you're wanting to get in the DMX lighting, you need to have DMX transmitters and DMX receivers, and you need to have a DMX interface, which would pair with the software you're using. There's a variety of options out there. WhoopMix is an all-in-one. Sound Switch integrates with your DJ computer. I have a couple of videos on Sound Switch, and I used to use Show Express back in the day as well, and I programmed that whole entire thing too. So there's actually a DMX playlist on Silyang. If you go to my channel, go to playlist and look for the DMX playlist, and it walks you through A, B, C, D, explaining everything when it comes to DMX lighting and how it works. And then that's on Show Express, but it teaches you the basics, and then you can apply that to any other DMX software that's out there. Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you, DJ Tequila and Ice. I love the name. That's good. Jordan Long, where is the Lighting Sticks DMX? The Lighting Sticks DMX. I need you to elaborate on the question. It's got a built-in receiver to it. So the Bow Lighting 360 tubes, there's a built-in wireless DMX receiver that's built into them. If you're talking about like profiles, it's in the manual. Some of the softwares already have them built into it. What laptop are you using right now? This is actually my backup DJ laptop now. I've finally upgraded. This is a 5-year-old HP Spectra X360 that I built out 5 years ago with the max specs, and it worked perfectly strong throughout the rest of the wedding season from last year, and I just bought the exact same thing, brand new, spec'd out to the max, and that is my new computer I'm going to be rocking for probably the next 5 years. But that's what I always do. I buy a Windows computer, and I've been buying these HP Spectra X360s. My last 2 DJ laptops, I actually own 3 of these, 4? I own 4 of these exact same laptops right now. I own a 13-inch that is the oldest of the bunch. It basically doesn't even work anymore. I own this one, which is still working, and I use now for my streaming for here in the studio. And then I have one built into my main setup in my office. I have a traveling little 14-inch computer that I take around with me, and then I got my new DJ laptop, and they're all HP Spectra X360 computers, custom built with the max specs when it comes to processing, memory, and RAM. Storage, all of them have like 1 to 2 terabytes of storage. I don't really think you need more than that. So, non-related question. How did you and your wife meet? We met on Hinge. Kevin, if you're asking related to my boy Gabe's, it's a little like Easter egg in the video. He talked about how he introduced us. He was correct, but wrong platform. It was on Hinge. It wasn't on Tinder. We didn't meet on Tinder. We met on Hinge, which is a little bit more of a dating profile. And we met because our dogs were the same name. My parents' dog and her parents' dog were both named Sophie, and we hit it off from there, went out on a date, and had a lot of stuff in common. We both like crunchy peanut butter. We both like pickles. A lot of random stuff like that, you know. But we hit it off very well. Yeah, we met here in Greensboro. So all DMX softwares require receivers or controllers. All DMX software requires an interface that basically changes the USB output from the computer, or maybe it's an all-in-one unit, but it basically runs the DMX software and then it outputs a DMX output. That DMX output you can either hardwire to the lighting fixtures, or you can use wireless DMX, which is what 90% of people use. No Macs. Yes, Victor, I have dabbled with Macs. I've tried it. I grew up on Windows. I've been on Windows. I know all the shortcuts in and out. Like literally, I'm a wizard on the. I just know how to use a Windows computer through and through, and it works for me. I mean, I run Serato just like everybody else. I run SoundSwitch. I run video editing softwares. I do everything. I will not deny that Mac is superior when it comes to running those programs, but doesn't mean you can't have a Windows computer. Windows computers work just as good. Send Nick's Apple charger back to him. Yeah, it's on my list. I gotta take it out of Bertha. It's in there. Love the contact. What speakers are you using now? I'm using LD Systems Maui 44 G2s for most of my events, and then this is the big boy setup that we just got that I will pretty much only be using for events of 200 or more people. It's the LD iCoa 18s with the RCF NLX 24s up top. Yeah. Moving hybrid beam movers. We actually just got those. Both Lighting USA. We just got in some more powerful spot beam movers, and we just got in hybrid movers. And let me just tell you, they're fucking massive. They are massive. Like they make the MH150 spots look like they're babies. But they are a true hybrid. They do spot, wash, and beam. They're only available in black though right now. And they're 300 watts, I think. And then we got a new BI mover too. And we just got those into the warehouse to do testing on. And you'll probably see a video on those in the next month or two. Like I said, we thoroughly test everything before we actually recommend it to you guys or make videos on it. We want to make sure the product actually works well and make sure that it's something that we would utilize in our company as well before we recommend it to anybody else. One other question I have to say, I have never bought Harbinger before, but was in Guitar Center the other day, and the new one sounded sick now. Unbelievable. Kevin, put a big grain of salt in that. That Guitar Center showroom is really small. Again, it can make a shitty speaker sound good. I'm not gonna lie. You're so close to it, they don't even have to push it really that loud. Like the level they play it at when it's like really loud in the showroom is not even close to like it. Maybe can do like 50 to 100 people. Like it's the small rooms. It's like playing a speaker in your garage. It's going to sound loud. It's going to sound good. But yeah. Anyways, guys, we are over the time by 5 minutes. Thank you guys so much. This has been an epic night. The pre-show we did prior was great. This is a nice little post-show. I do think I'm going to start doing at least pre-shows before every video that I release. Maybe not all of them, but it's a cool new feature that YouTube has where it can redirect people. So like if we do a pre-show, I can redirect you guys from the pre-show to the premiere, and then I can redirect you from the premiere back to me to have conversations and discuss at depth what happened in the video. So anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys. Everyone drop a 1 in the chat. Drop a 1 in the chat if you had a great time. Drop a 1 in chat if you had a blast. Drop a 1 for the wedding. Drop them ones. I want to see the flooding of the ones for the 51 people that are on here right now. Yeah, appreciate you guys so much. What up with the both lighting cans? Oh, I was waiting for someone to mention the both lighting cans. Coming soon. We're battling the company right now. Both Lighting wants to make an RGBW version, and we want them to make an RGBW amber and UV version. And yeah, it's fun. We tell them the people want the hex, but you know they say that people are gonna complain, and I'm like, they're not gonna complain. But we're getting samples in. We're gonna look at them ourselves, make sure they work. Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate all you guys. Good night. Good night. Good night.